in the kidney tubules, uh, sodium calcium counter transport that occurs through all or almost all the cell membranes, with the sodium ions moving to the interior and the calcium ions to the exterior. Uh, while both they are bound to the same transport protein in a counter transport mode. This sodium hydrogen countertransport, it occurs specially in the tubules of kidney, in the proximal part of the tubules of kidneys. Um, and Here, the sodium ions, they move from the lumen of the tubule to the interior of the tubular cell, while the hydrogen ions, they are counter transported into the tubule lumen, means in the opposite direction. Now the next question is that how does the active transport, it takes place through the cellular sheets? You see, at many places in our bodies, these substances, they must be transported all the way through a cellular sheet instead of simply through the cell membrane. And transport of this type, it occurs through many places, like the intestinal epithelium, or the epithelium of renal tubules, epithelium of all the exocrine glands, that of the gallbladder, and the membranes of the choroid plexus of the brain. Now, the basic mechanism for the transport of a substance through a cellular sheet is an active transport and a diffusion. You see, active transport through the cell membrane on one side of the transporting cells in the sheet, and then either simple diffusion or facilitated diffusion through the membrane on the opposite side of the cell. So that's how the transport through a cellular sheet that takes place. Well, this is a university question, and here you can see that both in primary and secondary active transport, the transport of the molecules and the ions that is taking place uphill, mean against the concentration gradient. That is from an area of low concentration to high concentration. The main difference is that primary active transport, it uses ATP directly, while in secondary active transport, energy is utilized indirectly. And that indirect source of energy, that is a gradient, an energy gradient, which could be anything, a concentration gradient or a voltage gradient or a pressure gradient, which was actually created by the primary active transport. And now this gradient is being used as a source of energy for the transport of another substance, and the transport of this other substance at this place, that is taking place against the concentration gradient. So memorize these differences and keep a list of these for your UQ.